Welcome once again to the Fantasy Forecast with Grindberg and bigz and Schulte. I am bigz, he is Grindberg, and he is Schulte. We are here to talk about our Week 2 starts and sits. So let's start the program. Welcome to the Week 2 edition of the Fantasy Forecast with Grindberg and bigz. We are here. You are either watching us on Fantasy Football Advice Network or on the YouTube machine. And make sure that you are subscribed and following at fantasysportsadvice.com. Go buy our merch. All that stuff, like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know all the calls to action. Go to Facebook and find Chris's Smoked Pickles and send him a messenger message. Use hashtag bigz and you'll get a special deal for bigz's viewers. Now we're here to talk about our starts and sits for Week 2. We will also be last week, tonight on Points After Thursday. So make sure you watch that show. And I will be here for a special edition of Breakfast with Bigz at 8:30 a.m. West Coast, 11:30 East Coast on Sunday morning. So you can check that out if you have last-minute starts and sits based on injury calls and who's out and on IR and all that stuff. So we're here for you. It's what we do. We are here for you. I do want to make a caveat right now. My starts and sits calls are based on sits being guys in the top echelon of their ADPs at their position, and the starts being outside of that. So if a running back is in the top 24, he's not eligible for start because you're starting him anyway. If he's outside the top 24, he's eligible for start because you drafted him to sit. So I'm telling you, don't sit him. Start him. By the same token, sits are going to be, if they're outside of the top 36 or inside the top 36 as a wide receiver, go ahead and sit that fool. So that's what we're doing here.
Let's go. All right, let's start with our sits here. Let's commence with our sits, not to confuse our guests here, our viewers. So starting with bigz, who's your first sit of the week, man?
This is a hard one because oftentimes I choose him and he always does me wrong. If I choose him to sit, he goes off. If I choose him to start, he gets hurt. And I'm talking about Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. The Denver Broncos defense is really good. They give up the fewest yards against running backs per game on average. I like the wide receivers in Indy this week and Tyler Warren especially. But Jonathan Taylor already got banged up in week 1. I'm putting him on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough matchup for sure against those Broncos. We saw what they did last week. So, yeah, I got a guy that I'm also sitting that last week didn't go really good for David Njoku. And seeing that rookie come in and gain so much of that target share, 9 targets for Harold Fannin, and Njoku only saw 6 in week 1. The most by any rookie tight end in their debut since 2017, alongside obviously Tyler Warren, who had another great week. Fannin posted a 29% target per route run rate, one of the highest among any NFL tight ends in week 1. They obviously had some plans for Harold Fannin, so I could see this just continuing and them kind of just eating off each other for the next little while. And Cleveland isn't exactly known for their high volume passing, so I'm looking for them to really start getting dialed in on the run game, especially when Quinshon Judkins gets back. But I'm looking at this week, especially sitting, a long-standing role as a dependable mid-tier tight end 1. And I think it's in real jeopardy now. And that dynamic drop here, it could be happening right now as we speak, and Harold Fannin's emergence is something that is going to shrink his target share. So I'm going to not trust Njoku this week. Schulte, what do you got?
Yeah, man, I think it's a good call, and it sucks because I was in on him last week, with the matchup against the Bengals, and, Flacco Well, I expected a blowout, so I expected 40 passes from Flacco in garbage time, and he loves Njoku. But man, Harold Fannin, whew, didn't see that coming.
Best fantasy performance in week 1 of any player whose family we met at the expo.
Yes, exactly.
Best Fannin to see performance.
Oh, boom. All right, who's your dad of the week here? One of your sits there, Schultz. You want to hear all about it?
I mean, I don't really like this because I love the guy and I love watching him, but it's Patrick Mahomes.
Ew.
Sorry, bigz. Not all of us are Raiders fans here.
Nothing to do with that. You ever seen him run?
Yeah.
How can you like that?
But we got the Eagles matchup, and this is just disgusting. Eagles defense is just a gauntlet, and I just don't trust the Chiefs running game to get anything going here to set up Pat Mahomes. And I think it's going to be entirely on Mahomes' back against a nasty pass rush. And this doesn't even you look back at the Super Bowl. Honestly, that game doesn't even in my initial thoughts about sitting Mahomes, I don't even think about the Super Bowl. But you add that in, and it's oh crap. So yeah, disgusting defense, a lot of injuries here. Xavier Worthy, who knows? Even if he's playing, it's not going to be full strength here. We're out Rashee Rice. This could get dirty here. Could get bad again. I know we're looking at maybe a little bit of passing game script, but I still like some other guys here. I'll talk about a quarterback I like to start who is ranked probably, you're drafting him lower than Mahomes, and I like him better.
There you have it. Biggs, do you have another guy that you'd like to sit this week, or lay some caution to our viewers?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this Chiefs Eagles game, and you guys just spent all your fab or you wasted your waiver wire priority on this dude, and that's Hollywood Brown. Just don't start him this week. At some point, the Chiefs will start to get cooking, but they got manhandled by the Chargers, and they're about to get smacked around by the Eagles. It's not happening this week, folks. So go ahead and sit Hollywood Brown. I know you just paid a lot of money for him. I know you just spent waiver capital on him, but this is not the week for him to shine and help you. Go ahead and go with your draftees in this week.
Yeah, it's a really tough matchup for the Chiefs, and they're coming off a really tough game against the Chargers. So, yeah, I'm on with you here, guys. I'm not very optimistic about any of my Chiefs this week, and especially at Pacheco as well. So, sit your Chiefs, folks, and also sit I don't know. It's going to be hard to do it if you drafted him, and I'm not saying you're going to just sit Bucky Irving, but you're going to probably proceed with caution, and very similar to why Schultz had Kyron Williams as a sit last week. There's going to be maybe some touchdown upside here, but he's going to have to get into the end zone for him to be very prolific this week. If we dig a little deeper into Bucky Irving, he had some red flags rather than green lights. He was overwhelmed between the tackles last week. He finished with just 37 rushing yards on 14 carries, just abysmal 2.6 yards per carry. He struggled to create big gains, and that Texans defense is no joke. It's a pressure-cooked unit with elite pass rushers like Will Anderson, and I'm looking for this to be a really tight game again. The Texans aren't really hitting on all cylinders on offense, as we know. CJ Stroud is struggling, and I think they're going to rely on their defense to keep them in this game. And I'm just especially thinking that Bucky Irving is going to have some hard treading waters here. They let the Texans 2.9 yards per carry against the Rams last week. So I'm expecting a very similar situation, and potentially a backfield that might be looking to pass a little bit more as well. And we know that Rachaad White might be the caveat on that situation here. So I'm sitting Bucky this week if I can.
Don't blame me there. I mean, this game has the makings to be kind of a slop fest, 20-14 or something, where nobody's really going to pop off unless you sneak a touchdown in there. And yeah, like you mentioned, Bucky's probably got to score.
All right. Well, we've covered most of our sits. Schultz, you want to finish us off here?
Yeah, this is a really simple one, and it's probably something you can apply most of the season. And this has nothing to do with Michael Pittman Jr. He's just up against Pat Surtain, and that is a bad man. He did not allow a catch this week. he had one target come his way. He broke it up. Last year, defenders caught about 305 yards against him all season. This dude is insane. It was all last year. He's jumping right back into it. Lock down Calvin Ridley. And as much as we've all talked about Calvin Ridley, side note in redraft, go trade for Calvin Ridley because someone's going to be disappointed and kind of angry they drafted him right now, and you should go scoop that up. Sit Michael Pittman. Pastor Tan is the truth. Broncos defense is the truth. bigz already mentioned Jonathan Taylor. I think Tyler Warren's the only Colt you're starting this week, and feeling okay about it.
Yeah, I agree. And what's going on at the Fantasy Football Advice Network, or FSAN headquarters there, Shelty? Let's hear from what's going on there.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
Oh, bigz has got something going on there. I'm excited to hear all about it. Before we get into our starts, what are you doing there, bigz?
I'm drinking my seltzer out of a martini glass because I'm classy.
You are one class act, and I'm excited to hear about the class act of your lineup this week. Who are the guys that you're spotlighting? Who are the guys you need to get in your lineup that maybe some people aren't starting?
James Conner. Now, there's some noise from Jalen Wright, but James Conner is the man. Led in snaps, led in targets, obviously led in rushes. And this week he has a juicy matchup going against the Carolina Panthers. We saw what Jacksonville did on the ground, and James Conner is absolutely going to hammer Carolina. Bryce Young, we talked about him a couple weeks ago. His 50% completion percentage is not making any noise, and it's not getting the defense not keeping the defense off the field. And they're just going to get hammered by James Conner for probably 35 to 40 minutes this week. And he's a big man. He's a bad man, and he's going to run all over the Panthers.
Yeah. I got him as one of my top guys to get in the lineup here, bigz, and I completely 100% wholeheartedly agree with you. You know, Trey Benson did cut into the work last week a bit, but I think that was more of trying to keep their veteran steady here, and I think you're going to see a lot of some James Conner, especially early on in this game, and he's going to be probably pretty effective in that role. So I love the call there. I'm going to talk about one of my starts of the week, and a guy coming off of a monster week one rookie standout performance, and he isn't very big. I'm talking about Dylan Sampson, 5'8", just under 200 pounds, but what he showed against the loss to the Bengals was nothing short of pretty remarkable when you ask me. The fourth rounder wasted no time earning trust from the coaching staff. He showed burst and vision and polish as a runner, but also as a pass catcher. That's where it was underlined here. And I'm not so worried about Quinshon Judkins' return. He may get some play this week. He did practice in full today, but on Thursday, but you know, Dylan Sampson was part of their plans when they drafted him so highly, even after they got Judkins, and he's a pass-catching guy, especially in PPR leagues, and in a game where I think they're going to be trailing for the most part against the Ravens. I think they're going to be relying on Sampson. I could see him getting upwards of 8 to 10 targets again, and that is flex worthy to me, and a guy I am starting with confidence this week, especially with Quinshon Judkins still kind of assimilating himself to the offense, and I could see this being a very big game for Sampson again.
Agreed. He's going to be a must play until Judkins is back. I think. I think he's shown more juice already in Jerome Ford. I've never been a big Jerome Ford guy, but with this team likely playing a lot of catch up, yeah, dude, I think we're going to load up on receptions for him. And as long as Judkins is not, taking the majority, he's going to be great.
All right, man. Schulte, what do you got for our next your first start of the week? I'm excited to hear about this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Brenton Strange. If you are, maybe a George Kittle owner, or you're just hurting at tight end, I think you're going to be in a good spot with Brenton Strange this weekend against the Bengals. We mentioned with the sits about David Njoku, and you mentioned how Harold Fannin had all the targets over him, but Njoku had 6. Fannin had 9. That's 15 targets for the tight end against this Bengals defense in week 1. We're not going to see 15 again. The Jags don't have the depth. You might see like 1 or 2 targets to the other guys like you saw in week 1. But Strange is the guy at tight end. He got 4 targets in week 1 for 59 yards. And that was in a game where they just controlled the ground and didn't really need to throw much. They ran for 200 yards, man. Controlled the line of scrimmage and just didn't really need to throw the ball and push it. I think that completely changes this week. Bengals offense at home coming off a lackluster performance. Honestly, it was kind of embarrassing coming out week 1 for them. Jamar Chase, 26 yards. Like, this offense they're going to put up points this week. And Jacksonville's going to have to throw the ball to have a shot here. So I'm in on Trevor this week. I'm in on all the Jaguars pass catchers. I think this is just going to be a volume game for him. And Brenton Strange, where you drafted him, he's going to be a good play. And especially, like I said, if you're hurting at the position, especially if Kittle or something, I feel good here.
Yeah, man, I like that call. I'm really looking forward to watching this game. This is a prove-it game to me for Trevor Lawrence to see if he can really put up some points here. So I'll be looking at this game, and I got a lot of investments in all the players in this one. So I love it. All right, Biggs, it's almost time for your spotlight. So let's get into it. Who is your biggest start of the week?
Shine it on me. My start of the week is going to be Khalil Shakir of the Buffalo Bills. They have a good matchup with the New York Jets. Remember what the Pittsburgh Steelers did to the Jets last week. We could see another shootout, especially considering what Buffalo did to Baltimore. You got 2 pretty high-powered teams and a lot of good wide receiver action. Don't get... let's pump the brakes on Keon Coleman a little bit. A lot of that was in comeback time. Khalil Shakir is the dude in Buffalo. He had 9 targets, 6 catches against Baltimore. I think he does get into the end zone this week, and he was wide receiver 26 last week. I think he pops into the top 16 this week.
Love the call, Biggs. I think you hit the head there on the nail, if you will. Because I think, yeah, in those times, I think they were looking for Keon Coleman, but I think, 9 targets is nothing to scoff at. And I think in a game where people are maybe dismissing this Jets team a little bit, I think they got a lot of optimism. And I'm going to talk about my spotlight in the same game, Schulte. So I honestly think that this game is going to have a lot of scoring in it, and I think that Khalil Shakir is going to benefit from that as well. But who is going to benefit the most, in my opinion, in the quarterback rooms in this game is I think it's going to be Justin Fields. He's going to open up quite a bit here. He started the season with a bang, 29 fantasy points in week 1. He ranked QB2 overall, and week 2 matchup against the high-powered Bills offense that could really truly unlock his ceiling. Bills offense led by Josh Allen. We know it forces opponents into aggressive, high-tempo game scripts, and that's the perfect script for Fields to unleash, who thrives in when the pace picks up. Fields showed serious growth as a passer last week, earning the highest PFF grade at 90 among quarterbacks. He attacked the deep ball with a 9.2 ADOT and took 1 sack only. He looked comfortable in new OC Tanner Engstrom's offense, so I'm looking for that juice to continue here. Fields logged 12 carries. He only had 48 yards against a tough defense, but he scored 2 touchdowns. I could see his running total being upwards of 90 to 100 here in this one, and throwing a couple touchdowns. Fields is a must start now to me. He's a QB1 for the rest of the season, and now he's certainly a guy that if you drafted him late, you're really reaping the benefits now, so he's a must start going forward.
QB1 versus QB2 matchup in week 2. How did we get so lucky? Hashtag blessed.
Blessed. There you go. All right, Chelsea, let's get into your spotlight. Start of the week.
Yeah, I kind of teased this one earlier talking about Mahomes and a guy I like much more than him this week, and that's Dak Prescott. So the reason I don't like Mahomes, playing the Eagles. Who did Dak Prescott play week 1? The Eagles. And the box score doesn't look great, right? I mean, over here on Sleeper, I was looking at 7.82 points. Week 1, 29 ranked quarterback of the week. Wasn't great. But if you paid attention to the game and saw some like the all 22 clips that popped up on Twitter, like Dak played very well. He wasn't bad in this game. He made a lot of good throws. CD had a lot of drops. There was that play to Ferguson in the end zone, and he ripped one down the seam right to him. Like Dak had himself a solid game. It just didn't translate. And it's the Eagles, man. Like that happens. They do this to everybody. He's coming home. He's playing the Giants. I'm expecting Dak in the offense to steamroll this weekend. Dak specifically plays a lot better at home. He's played one more game on the road, but he's got 29 more touchdowns at home and 4 less interceptions at home. And the yards per game, well, the yardage overall is about 1,300 total in 60-ish games. So, like, at home, Dak is significantly better. The points come at home. The offense just clicks at home. CD was incredible outside of those drops. He's gonna keep it going. Him and Pickens almost had a couple of big plays. Like that chemistry's close. I think this Cowboys passing offense is going to erupt this weekend.
I certainly hope so. All my Pickens shares. Biggs, what do you got to say, buddy?
And our Dak shares.
Yeah.
we have
quite a few.
Yeah. I won't ever root for the Cowboys, but they should have a pretty big game. Hopefully they stomp the Giants so hard that Jackson Dart finally gets the call in week 3.
Yes.
Doesn't the owner, I thought I saw a report that the owner, someone is already pushing Dable for it.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm sure Dable's pushing for it at this point, knowing that his job is in jeopardy here. Like, I think they need to get him in. Let's go, Jackson Dart Biggs. Let's do it.
Yes.
All right, call to action, my man.
Also, start Javonte Williams.
Ooh, good one. Like it. What do you got for us, buddy? Give us some call to actions.
Do that thing that I told you to do at the beginning of the show. All of those things. Go to fantasysportsadvice.com. Make sure that you're a subscribed member. Follow us on YouTube, Fantasy Football Advice Network, in the little search feature. Go to Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Also, like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. Buy the merch. Had a customer come into the store the other day, and she was talking about how her boyfriend is a Bears fan, and I was like, boop, boop, boop. Look at this shirt, and showed her the Tears shirt. So she ordered it she's ordering it for her boyfriend for Christmas. It's one of the best logos I've ever seen. It's so good. And all that stuff. You know what to do.
Forecast 15 for your 15% discount on the merch shop. So let's go. Hopefully we give you some pointers here to build your championship, folks. Biggs, you got something else to say? I could see it.
Also, watch our weekly recap and our starts and sits show and breakfast with Biggs and points after Thursday and spilled coffee and all the stuff.
All the stuff. We hope you win, folks. We'll see you next time.
We hope you win.
We hope you win.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
I love how people have such blinders on with that little segment in the.
Hold on, we're
game.
still recording.
Oh, why?
We are here. We are